Does the Facebook pixel scare you, or are you confused about it? If you get dizzy just looking at this snippet of code, then you're not alone. A few of my members have the same problem, and I also get a lot of questions from people in my big group around the Facebook pixel. That's why I thought it was way time for me to make an evergreen tutorial that really explains what the pixel is and how it works, so that you can set it up on any platform, even if Facebook changed the interface again. Hi there, my name is Evelyn Weiss. I'm a Facebook ads marketer and a digital strategist, and I help coaches and course creators to grow online faster using Facebook ads, and I also own a Facebook ads agency for e-commerce businesses. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into the video. So the way I want to approach this video is really making you understand the core principle, because Facebook changes something over all the time, and then if a small thing changes, it completely throws people off and they don't know where to go next, and they end up just giving up and not installing the pixel at all. Which I think is a big mistake, especially if you run ads that drive traffic away from Facebook onto a separate website. Because if you run ads on Facebook and you choose a campaign objective where everything just happens on Facebook, so let's say you set up lead ads. Lead ads happen on Facebook, people give their email addresses on the platform, and all the data stays there and in your account. If people go away from Facebook because you set it up as a conversion campaign and you send people to a separate opt-in page, an opt-in page is just a page on your website that does exactly that. It provides people the opportunity to opt in, give you their email address in exchange for a freebie or for registration. Then you send people off of Facebook. And what happens is that if you don't have the pixel installed, Facebook will not be able to know what's happening on the site. And Facebook needs to know that, because the whole reason why Facebook ads are so powerful is because they leverage data with their AI learning, and the more data that you feed your system, your ads manager, your pixel, the better the system will be able to optimize the ad delivery for you, which will result in lower cost per acquisition. So every time you drive away people from Facebook to a separate page on the internet, you want to make sure that your pixel is on there. Your pixel is basically just code communicating back to Facebook how the users that come from Facebook act on the website. And by reporting this data back to Facebook, Facebook then can optimize your campaigns. But it's not just about the present, it's also about the future, because over time you collect this data, and what you can do then is create first off custom audiences, which are audiences based on the people performing certain actions on your page. So let's say those were people that have added a product to cart, but they didn't check out. So what you can do then is create a custom audience out of those people and send them retargeting ads with a special offer, so that they go back to the website and complete the purchase. What you can also do is take this custom audience that you've created and create a lookalike audience based on that. So then Facebook gives you an audience of people that look just like the people that have added to cart. Or ideally, once you've collected more data, you need at least 100 unique users in a custom audience to be able to create a lookalike audience from that. You can work with purchase lookalike audiences. And if you set up the pixel correctly, you can even work with value-based purchase lookalike audiences. So you can create lookalike audiences based on your highest paying customers. That way you can show your ads in the future to people that look from a data standpoint exactly like your highest paying customers. And this is when you will really tap into profitability with your Facebook ads. I always try to explain that it's not a matter of making an ad work or not. It's a matter, a Facebook ad is a process, and you start with putting it out, and from that point in time, you constantly working on it and you constantly refining it. So you always test new audiences, you always scheduling new creatives, you collect more data, because then you can build better audiences and the whole system learns. And usually in our agency, it's for some clients for sure, especially if they have been around, we can create profitability in the first month. But for some clients, when they will really step into profitability, will be in their second to third month, because then we were able to build up some data. And some clients, then we just are able to scale very stable and very consistently just by leveraging this data. And all this would not be possible without the Facebook pixel. And this is why we always want to make sure that we set it up in the first place. So now on to the pixel. Before I show you the actual, like where it lives in Ads Manager, I want you to understand what it is in its nature. So the first thing we want to look at is the pixel base code. I need you to understand that the pixel consists of two elements. One is the base code, and the base code needs to be on every page. This is this code snippet here, and we will look a bit more in detail into it in a second. The other thing I need you to understand is that every page on your website has a specific purpose. So your homepage is there for people to view the content. Then you have a product page displaying a product. Then you have a cart page where people have added something to cart. Then you have a checkout page. Then you have a thank you page. So on all these pages, things happen. Or for example, let's say you are a coach and you have work with a webinar. Then we have a webinar registration page. We have a registration thank you page where they probably can buy a little self-liquidating offer to cover up for the ad spend. So there are a lot of things happening on your pages, and these things are called events. And those are the second part of the pixel. So one is the base code that needs to live on all the pages, and one are the events that need to live on the specific pages where they happen. And when I say they need to live there, it means that the code needs to be placed in the head section of your website. And if you don't know about website structures, it's basically you have the whole HTML document, and then you have a head section, and then you have a body section. In the body section is where your main content lives, and in the head section is where all the metadata for the search engines and all the code snippets for tracking live. And this is where also your Facebook pixel needs to go. So now let's have a look at the base code. Here we can see that these are just comments telling that it begins and it ends. And now these are script brackets. So the opening script and the closing script. I also want you to notice that there is a no script in here, and this is just a fallback code snippet for older browsers. So, and you just need to include that and don't worry about it at all. So what you can see in the very beginning of the code is that this is Facebook in the script initiating to load the library from Facebook so that this code can actually work. And this looks the exact same for every single pixel, and you can just copy and paste and forget it. After it loaded the library, it wants to initiate your pixel. This happens here. And this is why in here, you need to put your pixel ID. And after that, there is already one event included, and this is the page view event. So here you can see it tracks a page view, and Facebook wants this to fire on every page of your website. So this is basically the anatomy of the base code. And all you need to do is go down below my video, copy this code, and then enter your unique pixel ID in two places, namely here and here. And now I show you how you can find your pixel ID. So let me go to Business Manager. I always recommend that you not only have Ads Manager, but that you actually work with Business Manager and that you set up your Ads Manager in the Business Manager. If you have set up your Ads Manager already, don't worry, you can just set up Business Manager and then connect your existing Ads Manager. I'm now in my Business Manager, and I go to my business settings, and here under data sources, I can see the pixels. Here are all my pixels and all the pixels from our agency clients. And now I can say add, and it allows me to add a new pixel. So now you want to name the pixel according to your project or your business. I just named that test pixel. And then you want to enter your website URL. For the purpose of this example, I will just enter the URL of my membership and now continue. Now we say I want to set up the pixel now. And here you see a couple of things. So you could set up the pixel using a partner integration. And if you're a complete beginner, I do recommend that you do that. You can see that you have basically all the big e-com players in here, from Shopify to WooCommerce. And you also have, for example, Kajabi and page builders like Wix in here. But for example, I use ClickFunnels for my page, and this is not in here. This is why I need to do the setup manually. And now I close this, but I can just go to Events Manager. And by the way, this is where your pixel lives. If you're in your Ads Manager, you can always navigate with the business tools here on the side to Events Manager. And here is where your pixel lives, and you can just say Continue Setup. And now you see these options again, manually install or use a partner integration. Now I want to say manually install. It gives me the base code, just like I showed you before. You can copy this and continue. Now you can decide if you want to turn on automatic advanced matching. This would allow Facebook to get just more data from your website visitors. It will of course hash that. This is a bit critical sometimes with your privacy policy, and you will need to look into it if you want to activate it. And after you install the pixel code, you need to add the event codes. I don't want to do it with the event setup tool, but what you could do right now is that you could use the event setup tool to set up the specific events on your page. I always recommend it's better to do it manually. So now we see that this is the test pixel, and here we see the pixel ID. And this is the ID that we want to basically just copy in here. So let me show you how this works. Copy the base code, you can find it below the video, and then copy your ID. And put it where it says your pixel ID. So this is all you need to do here, and then you just need to make sure that this code goes in the head section of your website. And this is different for every website depending on what page builder you use. Usually, if it's WordPress, there is a plugin that's called Custom Head Code Snippet. You can use that for easy setup. In most page builders, like I, for example, have ClickFunnels, you can there's a dedicated section in the settings where you can paste this code. So I quickly show you this in ClickFunnels. So let's go to one of my SLO funnels. Under the settings, here you see head tracking code, and here I just pasted this code snippet. Save it, and then it lives on all your pages. By the way, I want to give you a and this will be similar for most page builders. It's very similar in Drop Funnels, it's very similar in Kajabi, it's very similar in Builderall. There will always be a section where it says head tracking code, and then you just paste the base code in there. The way to see if your pixel is active on your page is with this free Chrome plugin that is called Facebook Pixel Helper. You can just install that completely for free, and then when you're on your page, you can select it, and then you see if it's green, it means it's all good. You see your pixel ID, and you see the event that is firing on the page. I just showed you that the page event is always included in the base code, so this is why this also fires here. So this is my opt-in page, and now if people, I can also show it to you here. So this is my newest freebie, is 101 ads that make coaches and course creators money right now. So here we also have the Facebook pixel and we also have the page view event. Now I go to the next page. And here you can see that we have, in addition to the main base, we have a lead event. Because I track when someone opts into my email list, I track them as a lead. And now let's go a step further. So let's say someone opts in and they read the sales page about my membership. And now they say, oh wow, $27, it's a good price, I want to get started. They go on the next page. And now you see on this page, we have an initiate checkout because they started the checkout process. And then on the next page, we would have the purchase event where it fires for people that bought. So now you're wondering, how does that come in here? And this is through the event snippets. So these are code snippets that need to go on the pages where the certain things happen. So just as I showed you, the initiate checkout snippet needs to be on this page. It needs to go in the head section of this page. So usually it will look like this. You have a global head code section where you can include the snippet, and then you could add event snippets to the separate pages. This is like that in most page builders. So I just want to show you how this looks in this funnel. So let me go into my membership funnel. And I just showed you, I think, the order form page. Yeah. So in addition to the base pixel living in the settings, I also have a tracking code section here. And here I added the script that says Facebook track initiate checkout. So it's always the same. It's always track and then the standard event that you want to track. If you wonder what standard events are available, then I will link you this resource below. You see that there are quite a few standard events that you can track. If someone added payment info, if someone added something to cart, if someone added something to wish list, if someone completed a registration, if someone contacted you, if someone donated, found a location, the lead event, the purchase event, if someone started a trial, if someone submitted the application. So one thing I want you to notice is that if you don't find the event that you want to track, you can just create a custom event by adjusting this code and say track custom. And then let's say this is a call funnel and someone booked the call and then lands on a prepare page for the call. So then you could just say track custom and then you can name it whatever you want. Booked call. And then this will also be tracked in Facebook and you can start to optimize your campaigns towards that. I'm not saving this. Now, the second thing I want you to notice is that if you do a purchase event parameter, you also have to include the value and the currency. But you can find the exact specifications here in this file, and I will link it down for you below. So those are the two main parts about the pixel. Is always the base code and then the event snippets that need to go on the very specific pages. So how does that look in Facebook once it fires? Let me find an active pixel. So many in here from all the tutorials. Okay, let me go to my ads manager. Okay, I'm in my Ads Manager and now I want to navigate to Events Manager. This is also how you could find your pixel data. There we go. And here you see the count of the events that fired. You see the pixel ID, you see the websites that fire, and then you see how many events fired over the last month. So I had 5.6 thousand page views, I had 2.1 thousand people initiating the checkout, I had 1,600 leads, I had 177 purchases, and I had 12 complete registration. Here you see the diagnostic if something is wrong, and here Facebook informs me that there is a new page, which is the Funnels and Ads Pro, the membership page, which is a new page, is sending data. And then we can always troubleshoot here and, for example, manage the traffic permissions so that we can solve these problems. So Facebook tells us everything we need to know in here. All right, so to end this, I want to show you something else. So if we want to add events, we could always use the event setup tool where, Facebook would just open up the website. It even doesn't do it right now. For me, the event setup tool is very glitchy, and it's probably I guess should be the beginner's friendly option, but for me it's just better to integrate it manually, because then it also stays always the same and you have the overview. But you could do it with the event setup tool for sure. The way I actually like to do it is with Google Tag Manager, because it just allows me to really easily control the single pages and the single events going on. I can also track button clicks. I can add custom code if I, for example, want to track an order bump, which is not so easy. So an order bump would be if someone says, yes, I will take the pro membership. So if someone just ticks that on, then the people come to the same thank you page, but I need to distinguish the value. This would be something that you need to track in Tag Manager with custom code. So this is why I always like to set it up with Tag Manager. In the membership, we have a specialized training around how to set it up with Tag Manager, but I just wanted to make this video to point you in the right directions. So for you, the takeaways should be, yes, you need the Facebook pixel on your page, especially if you run ads. It consists of two parts. The base pixel that needs to be on every page, so you need to paste it somewhere where it's the area for your main header. Then you need to add events snippet on the pages where those events happen. You can check if you did a good job with the free Chrome plugin, the Pixel Helper tool, that tells you everything you need to know about your events. The way you could get the events on the pages would be with the event setup tool, if it works for you. Let me try it one more time. No, it doesn't work. So you could do it with the event setup tool, or you could do it manually. Or, and this is in my opinion the best solution, is you could set all of that up with Google Tag Manager, where you can easily manage the pages and the events. And another advantage is that if you manage all your tracking code snippets, because as you grow you will also add other snippets like Google Analytics and maybe your Google Ads remarketing tag. And this also causes your page to have a higher loading time, so it will be slower, and you know that every second that your page loads more really harms your conversion rate, and this can actually make or break the profitability of a campaign. That's why you always want to have this as lean as possible, and Tag Manager allows you to do just that. So I hope this cleared a bit about the confusion of the pixel, and let me know if you want me to do a specific training around Tag Manager for a specific scenario. because if you want to spend a bit more money on Facebook, you want to make sure that your tracking is really properly set up. If you're just tipping your toes in, then it's completely fine if you just make sure that your base code is on all the pages and that your that the event codes for the purchase, for the add to cart, for the initiate checkout is on, for the lead, if you collect leads, is on the separate pages as well. And this will be good enough for you to get started. And how to exactly do that in your page builder is something that you can look up for your specific page builder. And don't forget to always make sure with the Pixel Helper tool if the snippets and the base code are actually firing correctly. All right, that's all for now. Let me know if you have questions and I'm happy to answer them. Bye.